So here's the new head unit I've installed in my car. This is sold by Evo Custom Car, and it's called the Evo Fit display, and it's an Android head unit. And what Evo Custom Car does is they make these Android head units for various cars. So you do have OEM style plug and play fitments for Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audis, and all the other luxury brands, and it's just a plug and play fitment. So my car being an old Hyundai Santro, this one again has a plug and play fitment, and this is a big step up from the last head unit which I had, which is a Pioneer SPHC19BT, which was a singled in head unit. So what I'm going to do right now is talk about some of the basic features which this Android head unit has. So this one, as you can see now, the user interface is really smooth. It has all the apps that you would generally have in an Android phone or an Android tablet. So this works very well if you're you'll be very comfortable using this if you're comfortable or if you do have an Android phone. It works exactly the same, but this is connected to your car battery, and this is a car head unit. So this does have GPS. So you do have a GPS antenna. You can use offline maps if you do have an offline map file stored in an SD card or in your USB drive. This has Apple CarPlay, even wireless Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto. I don't know if this does have wireless Android Auto because I do not have an Android phone. So if I have the opportunity to test it, I will post a video about that. This again, as you can see, all these apps here, it does have a music player, it has a video player, you do have your regular FM radio, you have your Bluetooth which is connected to my phone right now, which I'm using to film this video. You have an equalizer, and actually let me just get into the equalizer so I can show you some of the features it has. Now as you can see here, this is about a 13 band equalizer here, and you can change and tweak the equalizer settings as per your preference. I've kept this as standard or flat because I do have a DSP connected to the system, and my speaker system is a 3-way active system, so I do use a DSP for tuning those speakers. So I did not find a necessity to mess with any of these settings. You do have the field, which is like your time alignment. So if you want the driver to have the soundstage facing the driver, then it can be that. It can be the co-driver, or you can set it to the rear, whatever you want. So I'll just keep this in default, which is all. And then you do have the surround settings. Now I've turned it off, obviously. Now these surround settings are nothing but, again, time alignment for all the speakers. So you can measure the distance between the speaker from your ear in your listening position, and accordingly you can set the distance over here. So it gives you that time delay, and it gives you a perfect sound stage. So let me just turn this off because I don't need it. Like I said, I do have a DSP and I've tuned the time alignment settings on that. You do have this bass enhancement feature to get that low frequency kick. And if you do have a passive audio system, I think this will work really well. You do have a bass filter. Now this is again your low pass filter, which starts from 20 Hertz and goes up to 250 Hertz over here. Again, now I want to set this at default because my car is already been tuned by a DSP, and as you can see, the DSP remote is right here. And getting into the technical specs of this, this has 3 GB of RAM, 32 GB of internal storage. It comes with 3 USB slots, 2 of which I've connected USB drives to, and the other one will be used for wired Apple CarPlay or just for when I need to charge my phone. So far, wireless Apple CarPlay has worked great. There have been no issues there. So let's just get into settings, and we can show you some of the features that this has. This does have Wi-Fi. As you can see, I've connected the Wi-Fi to my home network because I'm at home right now. You do have data usage. Now this is again Wi-Fi data, and if you don't live in India, this can accommodate a non-Indian SIM. So if you do stay in India, then it wouldn't work here, because we've tried Indian SIMs and nothing seems to work. So that is unfortunate. If we go to the device settings, then you do have your display. You can adjust your brightness level, your wallpaper, and all such things. You do have the GPS settings. As you can see here, you've got your GPS, and then when you come here, you've got your storage, how much of storage has been used. As you can see now, the portable storage is my external USB drives. So you see that I've used how much of a space I've used over there. And then you've got your apps, settings for apps. Again, works as a normal Android phone. You do have your general settings, automatic navigation start, mirror view and reverse image. This again, a lot of other head units have it, and a lot of even stock head units have that. So that's a good thing. So you can mute the audio while reversing. Now I don't want that. I just like the audio to be attenuated. I don't like it to be muted. So that way I can focus on the reverse parking camera. So that's a good thing. Now you do have this backlight control. So when you turn that on, as you can see, the backlight, those mini lights here go off. I don't want that to be off because I like to use them and I like to see. And these work when you turn your headlights on or your pilot lamps on. So as you can see, my car's pilot lamps have been turned on. Let me just turn them off. And once I do that, the screen brightness increases and those backlights go off. So I turn on the pilot lamps again. As you can see, now the screen brightness is dimmed and the backlights have come back on. So you do have your default volume switch, your default boot volume, sound mixing scale. Lantern settings is on automatic loop. So again, these are for the backlights, and you can choose whichever color you want. So let it remain in automatic mode. So I do not want to mess with that. You have steering wheel setting. Now again, if you have a car which does have factory fitted steering wheel controls, then this will work well. My car doesn't have one, so I don't need to worry about that. But in case I'm using an aftermarket steering wheel control set, I would use this feature. Now we get into user, and then you have your user settings. As you can see, your Google account. You can back up and reset it. You can factory reset it if you want to. So I don't want to do anything of that sort. So let me just go back here. And you see the home launcher here with the app drawer and everything. This can be interchanged. There are around 4 or 5 UIs, but I personally prefer this one. This is nice. It has the location widget right here, and it has a display for time, widget for time, and it does have a widget for your music player. So now this power button here doesn't work as a power button. It works as a mute button. So when I press that button, it immediately mutes the volume. So let me just mute the volume as I've done, and let me just play a song so I don't get struck off for copyright or anything. So yes, this is the Alan Parsons Project series, and this player plays files up to 24-bit 96 kilohertz without a problem. So that's a good thing. You can also add apps from the Play Store, and you can pump that number up for more high-res formats, and this can play it without any problem. Now another thing is you do have this touch assistant, and this works like the 3D touch on Apple iPhones. But I don't like this little button here, so let me just turn that off. But this is a cool feature to have if you want to navigate around the screen and if you want some shortcut buttons. And then you do have your navigation, music, Play Store. Like I said, this works just like a normal Android system. So if you're used to having an Android phone or an Android tablet, you wouldn't have to worry much. So let me just mute the audio again and then play a video here. Yeah, so this video is being played at 1080p. You can see how clear it is. I really like the way the display isn't pixelated, and it's very, very clear, and the audio quality is also really sharp, so that's a good thing. I personally like to watch music videos and mixtapes of DJs performing live, so that way I'll be just focusing on the music rather than having to watch a videos. But you can do that if you want. You can also turn the handbrake toggle switch. So what happens with that is, once the handbrake is pulled up, only then you can watch a video. So I've currently turned that off because I like to listen to my music and drive with the video playing at the same time, so I do not get distracted by it. Now another thing over here is you have this CarLink 2.0. Now this CarLink 2.0 is for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can say it's saying waiting for the device to connect. It's connecting, verification approved, and hopefully it comes. It takes a little bit of time, 10, 15, 20 seconds, but it does work great. There's no problem at all. So far my calls work fine. As you can see, the Apple CarPlay wireless Apple CarPlay interface is on. It works really well. Let me just get into news here and I can show you how it just pops out. It's nice. You can read the news out. You can ask Siri to make calls for you. Now I've moved back into the home screen. You can also watch YouTube videos if you like, and you can download whatever app you want to from the Play Store, and this will support it in most cases. But some apps obviously wouldn't work because this is not a traditional Android phone, although it behaves like one. So yes, that's about it. So far it's been really good, and a lot of people have this misconception that Android head units are bad and cheap, and that's true for really cheap Android head units. Those conk out very fast, but this one, having all the specs that it does have, with an octa-core Intel octa-core processor, 3 GB of RAM and 32 GB of storage, it shows no sign of any lag or any apps freezing at any point of time. So in that regard, I think it's been reliable for me so far. You can also add a 360-degree camera to this thing, but I haven't done that yet. So if you do want to add a 360-degree camera, you'll obviously have to fix cameras on your outside rear view mirrors, on the back of your car and on the front of your car, and even one on the top maybe. So yes, it does have all that support. And the sound quality of this, coming to the sound quality is really good. It's much better than some Sony and Pioneer head units that I've seen, and I don't mean to defame them or anything. They've also been in the business for many years, and they make great products, but this sounds really good. And so far, for the price which I've paid for this, I think it sounds really good. It sounds much better than the branded head units that I've heard. And yeah, you can obviously connect it to a DSP like I've done, and then go all out if you want an active sound system, which in my opinion would be the best way to go for car audio. So that's about it for this video. I hope it was helpful. And another thing I want to say is this head unit is very similar to a lot of Android car head units. So if you do have if you do plan to buy an Android head unit with any of these specs, please go for something that is a little more high end with specifications such as this. And do not buy cheap units, because those aren't going to be as reliable as this.